this is your first time here? I'm Reverend Shawn. I'm very casual today. I just drove back from a 10-day silent Vipassana. And it's not a retreat, it's a class, it's a course. And it's hard. And it was my third time, and there are virtues to having done it more than once, or even more than twice. One thing you find out is an hour will end. My first time, I didn't know. I thought there were certain hours I thought won't ever end. I was sitting here on the floor in pain forever, and no one will care. And last time I did it was 2009. And I thought after that second time, I'll never go back. There's no reason for me to ever go back. And then early this year, I heard, it's time to do it again. I have a voice in me, and I listen to that voice. That voice never misguides me. And so I heard it, and the registration day was March 12th, I think. It was the day I was flying back from Unity Village. So I'm in the airport registering online to make sure I got in, because these courses fill up quickly. And I was in, and I said, look, you're not allowed to kill any living things, so I have to be inside. I can't be in a tent. I can't be in a cabin, because I want to respect their boundaries. Kenneth did it a couple of years ago and stayed in a cabin. I can't imagine. I can, and that's why I laugh. It's pitch black at night. And the bathroom was not close to the cabins. And I think they moved the tents further away since you were there. Oh no, the cabins are in the same place though. But it's dark, and it's quiet. Except your mind. Your mind is not quiet. At least the mind is not quiet. And so you're sitting there with 100 other people. There's like 60 men and 60 women on the other side that you never ever communicate with. And and you're sitting there, and the person, I'm considered an old student, not because of my age, but because I've done it before. If you've done it once, you're now an old student, and there are greater expectations of you. But I'm sitting there, and I'm in the second row, and I did the first half on the floor. The second half, I asked for a chair. But I'm sitting there, and the guy next to me is as still and as quiet as can be. I thought, oh dear Lord, is he a professional? Does he get paid to meditate? He would just come in. He had his meditation blanket, and he would just come in and go right down, and he would just, and he would sit there for the hour and almost never move. And I thought, wow, that's impressive. That's really impressive. Now, the problem is, I knew this because I moved. I got a little bored, I never made it more than half an hour without opening my eyes and peeking. And you know what? I'm of an age where it's okay. I knew I'm not bad. There's no cause for guilt, because I didn't stay legs crossed, hands folded, and eyes closed for an hour. There are 3 1-hour sessions a day where you're supposed to do this. 3 noble hours that are great. And then there's all the other 7.5 hours a day where you're meditating, not quite as nobly, but since Wednesday night, a week ago, I wasn't chatting with anybody, and nobody was talking to me. And I didn't get lonely this time, just quiet, and I lost all track of time. But I had no lack of visitors. It impresses me how many people I know come to visit me while I'm on that floor and have a visit and a chat. They may be from my childhood, they could be from family. A couple of you showed up, a couple of you people say, oh, look who's here now. Oh, look who's here now. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you in 35 years, and here you are now to have a visit with me. Every night is a discourse by Gowenka, who's no longer with us. He made his transition in 2013. And Mr. Goenka, who was from Burma, he was a businessman. He came from a wealthy family, and he went into business, but he had migraine headaches that he couldn't get rid of. Not one doctor could get rid of his migraines, right down to giving him morphine, and he was in danger of becoming a morphine addict, and he couldn't get rid of these headaches. And doctor said, I don't know what to tell you. Several doctors. He went to different countries. I mean, he came to America. He went all over the place. He could not find a cure. And then somebody said, there's a man, and I couldn't tell him, asked me what his name is. I read it, and I couldn't tell you what it is. But it was in India, who did these 10-day courses on meditation. And it's a technique. It's not a religion. I learned more about Buddhism this time than I've ever before. And while I would not call myself a Buddhist by any means, this is a Buddhist meditation. It's a Buddhist technique. And it's very in alignment, actually, with what we do. And I'm not going to teach it to you here, what I studied in 10 days, because I don't understand half of what I learned. But I learned more this time than ever before. I think Mr. Goenka re-recorded the videos. Since I was there last time. I think from the other side, he re-recorded the videos, because I heard new information that I've never heard. It says it was recorded in 1991 on the thing, but I know there was things he's never said to me before. And one of the things I really appreciated that he said about the Buddha, he said the Buddha is not a person. It's an enlightened being. And I thought that's what the Christ is. Christ is not a person. It's an enlightened being. Christ is one who was anointed in the mind. Buddha is one who is free from really the limitations of sensations. And we worked for 10 days on observing sensations. And that is the entire technique. To sit and over and over and over again go through your body and observe sensations while your mind screams at you, while your body screams at you, loud and loud. It's not a quiet thing, it's just silent. It's not at all quiet. And I'm so grateful I did it. If I weren't here with you guys, I would not, I don't know if I would have pursued this so many times. But when I get the calling, I want to do what I'm called to do, because I want to encourage everybody here. When you get a calling to do something, you do it to listen to that voice, to absolutely listen to that voice, so that you never miss out just because you're afraid. The voice says, go do it. The voice, I've rarely heard the voice say, it won't be, don't worry, Shawn, it won't be painful. I don't hear the voice say that. Don't worry, it won't be frightening. Don't worry, it won't be. I don't hear any of that. What I hear is, this is the next thing for you to do, Shawn. This is the next place to show up. And something really, at the end of each meditation, I can't believe, I've heard it how many times in the past 10 days, actually 12 days, because you start on a Wednesday evening and you end on Sunday morning, so that's actually it's 12 days. He ends everyone with, I believe it's Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam. Every single one, and this is not part of the technique. This is a chant he does, and what he's saying is, may all beings be happy. And if you agree, then 3 times group chants Sava, Sava, Sava. Now here's the thing, if you agree. It sounds virtuous, doesn't it, to think may all beings be happy. I don't know that we want all beings to be happy. I think there's some we're holding out on. It sounds so incredibly virtuous. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be in love. May all beings be happy. May all beings. I've read some of your Facebook posts. I don't think you do. And I've heard some of the thoughts in my head, and I'm pretty sure I'm not yet willing that everybody, and I experienced great sensations of sadness, that I'm still holding out on some people, that I'm still resistant to all beings be happy, starting with me. I'm still not willing that I be happy. How do I know? Because I'm holding out on some of you. You, meaning the general population, don't take any of this personally. Oh, you guys are fine. And I had to laugh today. The good news, what I hear start with, my good news is my husband's mother died. That's what What I heard was, oh, my good news is my daughter's in trouble and needs me. David used to have a maid that he shared with his mother and his grandmother. And one day the maid came to his house and he said, well, how's Nana doing? And she said, oh, she wasn't feeling well. Then your mother got sick and she perked right up. May all beings be happy. Really, as soon as I heard him say it, I'd forgot what it meant, and then I read. I had posters and stuff, and I read. And I thought, I really could get on board with all beings being happy. Because if ever all beings were happy, no one would be trying to take away my good. My good wouldn't be threatened at all. And so, to become willing that all beings, without exception, be happy, so that we could then agree. Yes, we Saba, I agree. Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Rather than it just being something nice. Just something nice. Who here thinks of Unity Center of Norwalk, as their spiritual home? This is your home, and you are accountable for it. Okay, a bunch of hands went down. You are accountable for it. Okay, if it's your home, what kind of a host are you? Are you a good host? Are you a welcoming host? Even to some people who might not be happy the way we are, that might not want hugs. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a great celebration of Evelyn here. We christened Pauline and Justin's daughter. Is Justin, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Evelyn, who was wonderful here. And we had a lot of guests. We had a whole lot of guests here. People who have never been to a Unity service before, let alone a church above a Ford dealership. Can you imagine what it must have been like for some of these people? To, what? It's where? And then they get here, and they were telling the truth. And then they come up these steps, and then they walk in here, and people hi, can I hug you? Hi, we're Unity, we're happy. Do you want a name tag? And there was one man who wasn't interested in what we had. He wasn't happy. And a few people, it's not singling out a single person, I promise you, more than one, more than two, more than three came to me to criticize this man. And it hurt my feelings, because I chose to have it hurt my feelings. That here, of all places, people aren't allowed to get comfortable. They have to walk in comfortable. And if they don't conform to our way, then they're not a nice person. They're a scary person. They're bad in some way. Could we make here, those of you who said this is your spiritual home, and you are a host, could we make here a welcoming place for people who don't know what we are, might not even be interested in what we are, but they came through the door for that day. Could we let ourselves love them in a way we didn't know we could love? This past week, now, I'm living with 60 strange guys. Strangers. Oh, please, word of apostrophe thing. 60 strange guys. And I'm one of them. I'm the one in neon shirts every day. Everybody's in blacks and browns, and I'm these colors, almost everything, orange, you know. And because it lifts me up. Meditation isn't about being somber. And the first few days, I got it immediately about these guys. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe their social skills aren't up to par. Maybe some lean on tables with elbows. There was a kid one day that sat next to me that I actually got up and moved. Because I realized he is so needy right now. He is so desperately lonely. And I didn't have much compassion for him. Clunking his bottle down, he's banging his spoon, stirring his tea, he's eating his fruit, and he's looking over at me, and I thought, okay, I cannot talk to him. And so I thought, I'll love him better from this other table. But I didn't think he was bad. I just didn't know what to do with his energy. I didn't have to hate him. I could see, oh, he's lonely. He hasn't talked to anybody, he hasn't gotten any attention in several days. And I know what that feels like. And I looked around at some other people and I thought, but you know what? They're here. They're here doing a 10-day silent meditation course. And some of them are here for the second or more time. I could tell who were by placement who were the old students and who weren't. And I thought, there's more to these people than what I'm seeing. There's so much more good than what I am seeing. And so for me to look in the mirror and say, there's so much more than what I'm seeing. There's so much more than my guilt, than my shame, than my sadness. There's so much more than what I have decided to call myself today. There's so much more. And so may all beings be happy. Am I willing? Am I interested? Before I hit post. Before I go to lunch with you and have clever conversations. Before I let you know how smart I am. By letting you know how stupid somebody else is. Before I let you know, could I look twice at you, at me? Mr. Goenka told a story the other night, and I liked it. And it was about, don't ask me where, but the king and queen of somewhere. I don't know if it was China or where it was. But they became meditators. They worked with the Buddha, became meditators. And what's nice, as David pointed out, these are all stories. They're all parables. It doesn't matter if they happen or not. But they became meditators. And they were doing it every day, the husband and the wife, the king and the queen. And one day the king turned to the queen and said, "Who do you love?" She thought, "Who do I love?" And she looked at him and said, "I love myself." And she said, "But who do you love?" And he thought for a second and he said, "I love myself." Now, in those times, if he had been a different person, that queen could have had a very difficult ending. What do you mean you don't love me? What do you mean you don't love me? Me. And what he pointed out is we don't love anybody. We love ourselves. When we love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, all are included. There's no one left out. So you see, it's not the problems of the world. It's not the problems of my neighbor that being such a something or other. It's not the problems of a guest here who doesn't want to behave the way I want him to behave so I can be comfortable. It's not the problems of my spouse. It's not the problem of somebody else. It's that I forgot to love myself. And so, I suggest we all learn to love ourselves. I'm going to read you something. Holy Spirit's interpretation, Luke. And I think it's chapter 12, yes. Here we go. Discern carefully, my friend. Recognize the thought within your mind, and at every opportunity, choose the strength of your willingness. Seek only for the kingdom, and all things will be given you. Where your heart is, your treasure is also. It will be helpful if you remember this. God's will is that you be perfectly happy in every moment of eternity. And that is simple. And so, when you are not happy, you have made a choice that is not God's will. When you are not happy, you've chosen with resistance, and that is all. You've chosen with resistance. It's not a fight or a rebellion. It is merely resistance. It does not take you from God or separate you from God. It merely resists your willingness to know good, to know God. So whenever you are not happy, it is because you are resisting accepting truth. To be happy again, all you need do is return your heart to your willingness. Your willingness sings of God's will, and so give yourself to it in every hour to know happiness. And let me tell you another secret. The world cannot make you happy, and so the world must not be God's will for you. Okay? Thanks for sharing this journey.
Wow.